Welcome, survivors. Welcome to the very first episode of the Outpost. In this show, we will be going over the new recent updates that have been Kafir has been releasing and the future ones coming up. My co-host in the huge, hopefully long road and adventurous would be Shade. Welcome,
Hello,
Shade.
people. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. I'm doing lovely. How are you?
I'm doing good as well. So, do you want to briefly explain what this is? How it came
Yes.
to be?
So, I just saw kind of like the not necessarily demand because nobody is really asking for it, but I play a lot of League of Legends and
I saw demand, but not demand because no one's asking for it.
yeah, sorry. It's mainly like just, the idea started from there. I watched a couple of talk shows on League of Legends, and the hosts on there always say that more people want to watch talk shows, and then that's what sprung the idea. They're like, nobody really is doing this for Last Day on Earth, so what a great idea to try to do it with someone as cool as yourself that has been
Thank you very
playing the
much.
game. No problem, yeah. Somebody who's been playing the game for a super long time. And essentially what the layout is going to be is we're not going to release each show right when Kafir releases the update because we want to give the viewers a little bit of time to experiment with it. And then we're going to go over the recent patch, then then release this each show, and then give it another week to before we release the new one. So it's not going to be right after each patch releases. We're going to give it about a week. So like I said, we can all experiment with it.
And get everyone's feedback as well from, depending on what the update is, end game and early game players, which is especially important for this one.
Yep. So my name, sorry, in case I missed it, is ChrisCobi. I do have a Twitch stream. The link will be will be down in the description. If you guys want to tune into that, I have a pretty consistent schedule. Shade is starting, I think, to stream a little bit more often as well. Shade?
I don't have a schedule though because I work shifts, so I'm trying to stream on my days off 2 or 3 times a week, but that changes
That's
every
cool
single
too.
week.
Awesome. So without further ado, we're going to get right into what this one is about. The most recent patch that has been released is 1.11.6.
Yeah, so the main part of this update that everyone is going to instantly notice is going to be the changes to the storage system. So before, you would have a total of, I think I worked it out as 80 boxes, wasn't it? Or 100 boxes? Yeah, because it's 100, because before you could have 40 trunks, 40 chests, and 20 small boxes. However, after the update, they have changed it so that you can only have 40 storage boxes total, and you build them by starting with a small box and upgrading from there on.
So the big difference here between these two updates is obviously that before you could grab one of the small boxes and they were needed to build one of the chests, and then you would upgrade the chest to the trunk. Now you're going to be doing something similar, but rather than it being one of the recipes, you're just going to go into each one of these, and then there's a little button right at the right that
Top right
allows
corner.
you to hit top right corner, that allows you to upgrade each one of these, and some of the materials have been changed as well. Would you like to go over those, Shade?
I was going to say, what do you think about the costs for upgrading the boxes? Because I think with the changed storage slots, I think the trunk is now a bit too expensive.
I believe everybody's sharing kind of the same sentiment as well. So ideally we would want to upgrade as many trunks as we could, and then we get even a little bit extra storage space. So even though they made the change of materials, they're also adding a little bit more space to them. So if you haven't received that update, I mean, like I said, it's already been out for a while, but sometimes it delays. The updates get released a little bit later for iOS. You iOS users in this particular instance are a little bit lucky that you haven't gotten that yet. Try to ground out as much as you can so you can upgrade that and get that extra storage from your trunks.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the cost for the rack is probably the worst of them all, because before the update you had 100 boxes, but it would only cost you, I think I worked out as 200 steel total to get 2,700 storage slots. But now, after the update, to get the new 3,000 slots, which they're saying is improved, it will cost you 800 steel total, which is incredibly painful for new players and late players as well, to be honest.
Yeah, I have quite a bit of steel stored myself, and it hurts to have to spend it now.
Yeah.
On something extra, where steel is already that material that's not only the hardest, but it's one of the materials that's needed in most of the cooler stuff that's in the game, like the guns, you know. Even to be able to craft, nobody's even gotten to the stage where they can just craft like zip guns, because not only would it not be worth it, but nobody even has that extra.
Just completely useless.
Yeah, but eventually you would think like, oh, I'm gonna have so much steel that it's gonna be like being able to craft a machete, but nobody's even at that point just yet.
A machete?
So add another. Yeah, well, you don't craft machetes with the steel, but you have enough like of the materials needed for the machete.
Okay,
like
yeah, I understand.
Spare. Sorry, I probably should have started with that. So you have enough spare materials to be able to craft machetes all the time. Nobody's even gotten that with steel to be able to craft like zip gun. As bad as they are, there would be a point where you have like 200 steel and you don't know what to do with it. You're like, oh, might as well craft zip guns. But yet here we are with another update that requires just more steel besides, like we already mentioned, gun upgrades. One of the other items too that's quite kind of wide used in this is the oak. That's one of the other materials that's a bit of expensive too.
One rack is going to cost you 3 oak walls, 3 level 3 walls, which is painful.
That's a lot, yeah. So,
although it is worth again pointing out that with the new system you only need 40 storage slots in total in your base. So you're going to require a lot less walls to protect all your loot. So you are going to save on resources that you would use to build walls. The reason they decided to only do 40 boxes is because they needed to limit the space used by chests while keeping roughly the same amount of slots. These words are direct from Cloud, one of the developers, by the way. And from his experience of watching pro players, they tend to stack guns and other items without ever using them, which is completely true. I've got 2 racks completely full of guns and I've never used most of them. And the limit in their plan is to force people to manage their space instead of just piling up absolutely everything. And because they've also recently added items that have increased the storage capacity, like the chopper with 8 slots, the tactical backpack, which is going to be coming out very soon, and possibly a backpack for the dog as well, which would just make this even more of a bigger problem. And they've also done it to try and reduce the load and lag on devices. And Cloud's main reason for why he wanted it is to make bases just look nicer. Because before the update, as all of you who had lots of storage will know, your base was just covered in boxes. And anyone that has raided bases like this knows how horrible it is.
Yeah, and I actually want to talk up on a couple of different points that you made there with the being able to manage your resources. We have to remember, guys, sometimes we forget, as fun as the game it is to play, that this is a survival game. Personally, we've all been noobs at this game and died at the bunker and all this part.
Oh, definitely.
Even when you start a Smurf account and you're trying to just barely manage your resources, it happened to me when I was streaming today. I was trying to kill the blind one, and I was trying to figure out just to have enough meds to be able to kill him. It wasn't even the guns that was issues, it was the meds. But it was obviously because somewhere along the way, I failed to prepare to have enough meds to be able to kill him, right? I barely managed to sneak it out and had a few meds left over, but I was really like kind of starting to worry about it. And when you play a survival game, that's the cool part about
the risk is fun in the survival game. You don't want to just have absolutely everything, never have to worry about dying, which is where I'm at in the game now. So that's why I've got my free-to-play and streaming account.
And the way this ties into the chest is like, if you have all these chests laying all over your base, and you have all the storage room to throw them in, then you really are just stacking up on a bunch of items that you don't really need. And it takes away a little bit of the fun of the game, really. Because we all have like one of the small boxes filled with like ball bearings. When are we ever going to use them? Probably never, but they're just there, you know? So this, in a way, is going to eventually end up making the game a little fun, where we're all kind of just like initially hurt a little bit by thinking that, you know, it's going to require a lot more steel. But it's a survival game. We have to have that resource management system, or else the game just becomes easy and boring, right? And who
Yeah.
wants to play an easy and boring game? No one really.
Like, at this point in the game, I never have to worry about having meds or anything like that. I've got a rack completely filled with medkits and bandages. So I never have to go out and farm for them or anything like that at all, just because I've done probably about 5 or 6 raids where I just come back with an inventory of 30 medkits. Not 30, 30 stacks of medkits.
Mm-hmm. And it goes the same thing like with I had mentioned the second point is to actually make the game a little bit harder, even if you could do not just a hard mode at the bunker, but a hard mode in general, because when you get to a point where Shade and I are in the game starts becoming easy. And when the survival game is easy, then it kind of becomes boring.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Where I in the long run, I think I'm going to end up appreciating this, because when we start filling up all these boxes now that we have, even with the little bit extra storage system, I'm already started right instantly from this upgrade. I'm like, okay, I appreciate that the trunk gives me a little bit more space because I have a ton of SWAT armor, and I was always looking for where to properly organize my SWAT armor. But now that I have the extra space, I can throw that all in there. But now I don't have as many chests, so all those little extra ball bearings and stuff like I was mentioned before, now we actually got to be like, do I really want to keep 300 of them, or can I only keep 100 of them and be good with that, right?
300 is for lightweights. I think I've got about 600 of them stashed away. And I'm just never going to use them, but just in case. Just the eventuality that they might one day add something that takes me to use 500 ball bearings, I've got them there. I think there's a couple of the big complaints people have got about the changes to the storage system, which are, how long did it take you to organize your base after the update?
About an hour. It wasn't too bad.
An hour? Is that it?
And the reason it took me an hour was because I had recently just gone to a red zone, red lime zone, and was playing risky, and I ended up dying to one of the wolves there, the big ferocious ones. And
Yep.
I got back, and it took me forever to find my steel plates. When I even started my stream, I put the title, "Where are my steel plates?" Because I was like, Kafir took them away from me, or they're hiding them. I can't find them.
Well, of course, and you had spare steel, so you could just upgrade things to racks instantly, couldn't you?
Yeah, but initially just getting my backpack so that I could grab more items from the chest, carry them in my inventory, and then put them in another chest. It took me 10 minutes alone just to find my steel. So really, it was probably like about, realistically, 45, 50 minutes. So it wasn't terribly bad.
On my free-to-play account, it took me about 2 hours to organize my 3x3 steel room that has 6 racks and 3 trunks in it.
Dang.
So that's 9 boxes out of 40 that are organized, and that took about 2 hours. Just because everything was spread out everywhere. So it was an absolute nightmare to find stuff for a while. I know quite a few people in the Discord. Dweeber, for example, one of the moderators in the Last Unearthed Discord, took him 6 hours to organize his entire base after the update.
That's when you know you're not organized, guys. So you got to organize it, because that's what really helped me. I was like, okay, once I found the stuff that I needed, and this is kind of like a point for all of those of you that haven't gone through it just yet. You grab all those items and then you just throw them in one random chest. But now you know that information. The biggest thing I think mixing everybody up is like you don't know where anything is. So once you start sorting up, okay, this thing goes there, that thing goes there, it all becomes really easy. It's kind of like a Tetris puzzle, right? At first, you're like, oh, I'm not sure what to really do with this piece, but at least you lay it somewhere. Now it's starting to lay a structure for you, and now when you find something else that fits in perfectly into there, and now it slowly starts becoming a little bit more and more easier. So if for those of you iOS users, again, one of those things that you're actually really happy that you haven't gotten the update, start
organizing now, definitely.
Yes, exactly. Before everything's all over the place and you really don't know where anything's at.
I was quite lucky with my main account, because before the update I only had 45 storage boxes in my base, so it was only about 5 boxes worth of stuff that was randomly distributed everywhere. But it did delete stuff in one of my safes, so I lost 100 engine parts from the update.
Really? I thought they said that they were going to send that to the coin inventory. That didn't end up happening, I guess?
They're going to, but it's taken a while, and they're busy with the update trying to get it actually pushed out to everyone.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay. Well, you won't. really lose them then, right? You'll eventually get those back.
Yeah, yeah, I should do.
Well, that's cool. At least that they're keeping track of what,
Yeah.
you know.
But the issue is, for people that don't have direct contact with the devs, it's going to take them a lot longer if they ever do manage to. So it's just relying entirely on Kefir support, believing people, and people trying not to lie and pretend they lost stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Which I've seen a few people trying to do already.
Yeah, it's one of the topics we already went over, though. If you try to lie about that stuff just to get extra stuff, it removes from the fun of the game, the grind that like, oh, I don't have enough resources for this. How am I gonna play the game a little bit smarter to make up for when I wasn't being smart, kind of thing?
And on top of that, it won't actually work. It'll just waste the support team's time, because they can check the backup of your base from before the update to see what items you had. So they'll just see if you're lying. But everybody messaging them the same thing, saying, oh, I lost this, this, and this, send me it. If they're all just lying, it's wasting the support team's time, because they have to check each account individually.
All right, guys, so don't do that. For the people that have actually lost their accounts, the support teams helps with all that. Do the support team helps with new updates or stuff when they don't have much to do, or do they always have a bunch of stuff to do?
Constantly slammed. People that clear data are the biggest cause of the delays in replies from the support team, because they clear data and lose their account. So don't abuse the clear data thing, people.
Okay.
Right.
If we as a community want the game to progress quicker, not take the time up off the devs and the support system, we got to stop doing stuff like that, guys.
Yeah.
Get all those fun updates that we all want released quicker. Raider tasks. I had mentioned some of this before, and we made a small list of the ones that are actually new, and we will be going over that. But I'm really glad that they did this update, because
sorry,
is it the first time? No, go ahead. Is it the first time that they've done something like this, Shade, where they put in new?
Yeah, the Raiders tasks have all been the same since raiding was added in February last year.
Okay, yeah, so it's refreshing to see that they're keeping up that part of the game, the rating and the task with all the new events and stuff like that have been put into the game, like the farm, the police station, all these cool stuff.
As much as I love the Raiders tasks, there are a lot of people annoyed with, I'd say, two in particular, which are kill the witch, because for some reason everyone seems to think you have to use C4 to kill the witch, which isn't true. See, what did that? Witch isn't true. You can use C4 to blow up the blood pools, which I think let her heal 300 or 200 HP. So you can still kill her without using 2 C4 on it.
Okay. I've never even tried her, so this is going to be an adventure for me. And I actually just got her today too, so I'm going to be looking forward to that.
Try your hardest to get the spread shot on the shotgun if you haven't got it already.
I do. Actually, it's the one that I targeted the most, because the other AOE was obviously the AK, but the AK required twice as many carbon composites, which...
Yeah, the AK one is horrifically expensive. And the other one that people aren't happy with is the survive 20 waves at Blackport PD.
Why are they unhappy with that one? That one doesn't seem too bad.
Because the only people that are doing police station are those that are at the end game and are trying to get weapon mods. Whereas a lot of people that are raiding are still in the early to mid game. I know I started raiding on my free-to-play account at about level 40, I think. But I didn't go to the police station until I was... I don't think I've even done the yard on the police station on my free-to-play account yet, actually.
Yeah, I barely did the police station just a couple days ago on the Smurf account that I started as well. And I got to level 22, but it pretty much took just about everything. I mean, I made sure I had two shotguns left over just so I could keep killing the blind one and keep getting more red chests.
Yeah.
But all the other guns were pretty much gone. But I pretty much reloaded as soon as after I did it, just because you get some of the guns back if you end up getting the blue chest. I don't think I got any. I think I got 3 green ones. So, but yeah, I guess it does make sense that. To
this day, I've never gone past wave 27 at the police station.
I've only done 42.
And
yeah, go ahead.
For the Raiders task, there's problems with some of the others. So they've added in the tasks. What have we got? Kill Kowalski, kill the Alpha Wolf, kill the Scavenger, kill Explosive Timmy, the Colonel, Moody Mike, and that is it. So those ones rely entirely on RNG of finding them in the locations. So I had the task to kill, what was it, Explosive Timmy in the red limestone zone. I went there 25 times in a row, back and forth, didn't see him even once.
Dang.
Which, yeah, that's really annoying.
So will they eventually, is it something that they're looking to fix in, or I mean, they just released the update, so they probably haven't gotten all that feedback just yet, but
it's definitely something all the content creators are already pushing for.
Awesome.
Yeah,
great. So just be patient. One of those things, guys, that we have to play with it and experiment a little bit before they ended up seeing like, oh wait, whoops, like that's a little bit too hard. The one thing that I was having the problems with too, actually, myself, was the puppies. Because it's easy to find 2 of them if the farm opens up in the farm. You know, I call the little area that sometimes opens or doesn't open like a little barn, right?
Yeah, that's the barn.
Yeah. Then you easily find 2, but when you find the 3rd one, and I was going to like every airdrop, you know, believing some of the myths that people say, like, oh, if you go 2 or 3 airdrops in the 3rd airdrop, if you reset it a couple times and they just mean like exit and go right back into it without leaving that location anywhere, then you get a puppy. And I tried it a couple of days in a row. I didn't get any luck.
Task was find 2 puppies and grow 3. Was it find 3 and grow 3?
Yep.
Ouch. That sucks. Yeah, I found the farm easiest way to get them, because you get them in the little house on the side and in the top right corner next to the barn. But then obviously there's one more in the barn as well. But yeah, that's just complete luck as to whether or not that will open up.
Yeah, so I think we see the main problem with all these is just that random luck factor that people don't like to experience. And it makes a whole lot of sense in the survival game, because we don't mind grinding these things out if there's like a light at the end of the tunnel, right? Yeah,
but going on and on and on, never knowing when you will be able to complete it, that is the problem with it at the moment.
And in your particular instance, like, sheesh, I would probably take another break. Maybe it won't be like a couple months like I did late last year. But I would probably at least take a week break if that were to happen to me. 25 times and you don't find that guy, sheesh, you gotta have a lot of patience, man.
Yeah, that wasn't fun. I was just doing it whilst watching stuff on YouTube anyway, so I was just zoned out, running back and forth between the places.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but the look around skill made that so much easier. Because if we didn't have that, that'd just take so long. Because then you'd have to fight every single abomination and floater bloater.
Oh yeah, I actually didn't find a good use, but now that you mentioned it, thank you for that. Actually, I was like, this is kind of like a useless skill, because when you zoom out, it only zooms out
to what you see on the minimap.
Yeah, and then I'm like, I already have that information from the minimap. Why do I just want to actually see? But that makes sense. Yeah. Because a lot of times you see the bigger little red dot, or you know, whatever they are. They look more like teardrops, and you're always questioning, is it a toxic abomination or is it a bloater? And then you're always trying to run around it, and it ends up, you know, taking a whole bunch of time.
Yeah, especially when you've got the task of kill 15 abominations and you run up to it expecting it to be an abomination, you're just fighting a bloater. So I think in a red zone you get 3 toxic abominations, I think, isn't it? I'm pretty sure.
3 to 5. Sometimes some randomly just appear that weren't initially like designed to be there.
Yeah, the random spawns.
The random spawns. So.
Right. Are we ready to move on to part 2? Part C/3.
Well, let's just touch up really quick on the ones that removed that were also annoying people a lot. They removed craft the 15 spike traps, and then craft 5 chests, so we won't have to always keep bringing back rope for us, because after a certain point, and it's not like players that are pro or in the end game, you know, have a ton of like rope. We really don't need it all that much. It's one of those, again, that we just have like 500 off because
didn't have any of it. Every time I got that task, I was annoyed. So I just stopped stashing rope. I didn't need it.
Yeah. So would you just skip it with coins then or something?
No, I'd go to red zones and kill absolutely everything to get rope.
Yeah.
And then I
I would
found
always
out about a week before they removed it that you can actually craft rope.
can you craft rope? I didn't even know that, I don't think.
Plant fibers in the tanning rack.
Oh, that's right.
But
But
at
then
the
you have
same
to
time, I
farm.
never have plant fibers either.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it just makes it wow. Okay. But hey, at least they removed those because then the other thing we would do is like we would just craft them, throw them in a chest really quick, and then just forget about them, right? Where now, since they did the chest thing, now we can't just,
Yeah.
it works out together that they removed these because then you just throw them in there. Well, now we don't have the extra space to throw them in there, so it's cool that they removed them.
What I'm wondering is if we're going to see a major change in the design of bases now, and see people's bases shrink and become absolutely surrounded by layers and layers of spike walls. Because really, all they need to do is have their storage boxes inside a base. They can have all their crafting tables and everything outside, and it doesn't matter if people break into them. So you could literally just build a 20 by 2 or 10 by 5, whatever. 10 by 4, not 10 by 5, that'd be 50. A 10 by 4 area, separate it into separate rooms, and then surround it with, say, 2 or 3 layers of honeycomb. Because you can place down, what is it, 200 spike walls, I think?
I thought it was 80 only spike. You
Oh
talking
yeah,
about?
where did I get 200 from? That's 80, yeah.
Yeah, so I did it once too, and I try to do it the smart way where you don't actually put your traps like right outside your walls because then people
Yeah,
who
that's
raid
what
your
I've
base
done.
use when you put them outside your walls, then they use those to kill the waves that are coming at them. I put one wall, then I put the spike tracks, and then I went back to my walls again.
Yeah.
And I barely managed to fill that second layer. I think I could put a couple more in, but I don't really have any place to put them. But yeah, you actually can't layer spike traps on, back to back. So they just have to do the honeycomb thing then.
However,
But
with only the 40 boxes now, you're going to be able to wrap spike walls around a decent amount of your base.
Like,
For
yeah,
example, if you've got a weaker side, which would be easiest for people to blow into, say you only had 2 stone walls there instead of 4, you could put layers upon layers of spike walls there.
Yeah, and the spike traps don't destroy as easily, right, as level 1 walls because they actually hurt the
Spike
zombies.
walls make 7 noise when you break them, same as a level 2 wall.
Oh, okay. So not only are they taking more noise, but they're also being more efficient against the zombie horde if you don't have all those level 3 walls up just yet, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Yeah,
Look,
so a couple
I'd
more
say
ideas
just
for you guys.
don't bother building walls at all until you can upgrade them straight to level 3.
Yeah, that's what I was doing mainly on my Smurf account.
Yeah.
After that, I have nothing else really more besides you got to fix a little bit of the RNG on some of these quests.
Yeah, that's definitely needed. As hard as the new Raiders tasks are, I do like the difficult ones. I think they add a bit more to the game. Reinforces with players that raiding isn't an early or mid game thing, it should be more end game. But I think they really do need to take a look at how raids currently are.
Yeah, there's quite a few things they need to fix while they're also trying to release new updates. So I just have patience with them as much as I can. Sometimes it's really frustrating when you go to a red zone and you reset it 5 times and the big one keeps appearing there. Then you lose your stuff, like some streamers have done.
I haven't died to the big one in a red zone in a long time.
Well, no, I didn't die for them. I literally went to like a pine zone and to the pine red zone, and then I'd reset them by going to Bunker Bravo like 4 times. And the worst part is like I was on stream and I was trying to teach a new player something about the pine zone, and every like 4 times in a row he appeared back to back, and I was just like, wow, like just wanted to pull my hair out. Yeah. The grenade. Can find it in a couple different locations. I think some of the lockers in the police station, some of the lockers in Bunker Alpha, both 3 and 4 have them. I think they can also appear at the farm. You no longer need an iron hatchet, but you didn't need to have level burglar 2 or 3. Do you know for the
It's
farm?
burglar level 2 at the farm, I believe, and level 3 on floor 4 and the box on floor 3.
Okay.
I've actually done a video that shows all of the locations of the locked rooms that you can find every single time. However, I missed one of them at the back end of the police department.
Okay, so we'll probably post a link for that somewhere in the video. We'll point in all different directions. So, yeah, wherever we end up putting it. Yeah, and we've... Is that all the location? Well, your video will explain all that.
Yeah, so locations. There's the house at the farm, where previously you had to break down the door with a hatchet. You can now get in there with burglar. I think it's level 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
At the motel, straight after you blow up the pile of rubbish, there's a level 2 lock door. At the police station, the first room on the right, where there's the hungry chomper, the one that heals himself, in there is a level 2, and in the top left corner of the police station is, I think it's either level 2 or 3. And then there's 4 locations in Bunker Alpha. So there's the locked gate at the far end of floor 2 in the room that's got 2 frenzied giants.
Quick note about that: they moved the frenzied giant back now, so you can't sneak attack with the melee weapons. I was like, you cheeky people.
Everyone used to just stand there using a stop sign to whack him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't do that anymore, unfortunately. So yeah, there's that room. There's also on the 3rd floor, there's just one spot there. I actually got this wrong in the video. There's one spot on the 3rd floor. It's next to the room that you can break into with a crowbar at the back end with the one frenzied giant there. Mm-hmm. And then on the 4th floor...
Where the blind one is too. The blind one door right after that.
Yeah.
That's the one that she's talking about. Yep.
And then on the 4th floor, it's the 2nd room you'll go into. So the one with 2 toxic abominations. That's a level 3. And in the final room where the military box is on the floor, there's also a locked one there.
Okay.
And of course, all the ones in the bunker reset if you activate hard mode. So theoretically, you could come out with, I think you can get a max of 2 in each locked one. So you could get, what, 16 grenades per bunker run in theory.
Are they guaranteed though? Because I think I've opened some of those.
No, they're not guaranteed. However,
no, they're not guaranteed.
Each of them have a chance of giving 1 or 2 grenades.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, theoretically you could get 2 from every single one each time.
Gotcha. Cool. So we thought a couple different cool ways of how you can use this, and I was telling this one to Shade, and
well, no, this was entirely you that thought this. I'm not taking any credit. This is a really good idea.
Yeah. So with your pistol upgrades, but you also told me something really important that might have to make me really like think this. The paralyzing shot does paralyze the big one, but Shade told me that he only knocks them back.
It's not just the big one, it's all zombies now. Instead of paralyzing them, it just knocks them back a little bit.
Okay. So we can't... My initial idea was to use the paralyzing shot on one of the pistols, paralyze the big one, throw a bunch of grenades at his feet, and right when he's done being paralyzed, then you slow him down with the active, because you can't use the same active back to back, even if you have 2 different guns that have the same active. I've tried this with the shotgun and it didn't work, so I'm thinking it's pretty much the same thing with like the pistol. So you have to definitely use... Do you know this? Since the M16 and the Glock 17 have the slowing active,
leg shot.
The leg shot, yeah.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Do both of those work?
Know.
We have to test that then, because if they work, if they both slow down the big one,
you can just switch between using the Glock and the M16 to leg shot him and slow him down. That is really... Yeah, we need to look into this.
Yeah, so that would be a good way, like where you go and hunt down 10, 15, 20 different grenades. You bring both the Glock and M16 that have it slowed down. You slow them down. You throw all the grenades, and then you slow them down again. Now, Shade made another really important detail. You have 1 slot for the M16, 1 slot for the Glock, and then 1 slot for the grenades when you have your extra pocket unlocked. So it doesn't leave a slot for heals. But if you have your active heal you can use that in the meantime while it takes you to switch, one of those items to in a heal item, and then also have your sprint button up so that you can run away with them, because those active skills are on a little bit of a cooldown where you won't be able to do it back to back. Say like you, and we have to get the timing right down too, because say you're sitting there and you're chugging like 20 grenades at him, he's not going to be slowed down that time. So it may just be only that you can only throw like 5 grenades at him and all 5 will hit him, right? Because you don't want to be standing right on top of him when he's smacking you and these grenades going off, because that's a good way to get yourself killed. You obviously don't want to do that. You're going to kill him and have him kill you.
But you're obviously going to want to practice using just, I'd say, 1 grenade at a time. Because you don't want to throw out 5 and have every single one missing.
Yeah, so it's going to take a little bit of that experiment to see how many you can actually get off. I'm guessing you probably should be able to get off at least like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
In the process of slowing him down. But that's one of the cool ones. Some people have thought of like Bunker Alpha. Have you thought of any cool ones?
Yeah, I said Bunker Alpha, the room on floor 3 that everybody hates, that's completely full of toxic abominations and spitters. Just throw 1 grenade in there to aggro them all, and then drop a load of grenades basically at your feet and run away. And by the time they get to the door, they should blow up and kill them.
Okay.
And Star Snipe showed this on a video, which he actually managed to get to work amazingly. He went to kill the witch and was using the grenades to take out the hordes that she summons in. Which, it does mean that you get damaged as well, like quite a lot, but if you do it right, you don't die. But yeah, 1 grenade takes out the entire wave of zombies she summons.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I think that would be a little bit difficult, because don't they come, like I said, I've never tried the witch, but I've watched a couple of videos on it. Don't they come from all different directions?
They do, but you can get them all to follow you in a train. Personally,
okay.
I'd much rather just use the shotgun spread shot. I think that'd be a lot easier.
Yeah.
But if you haven't got that, grenades are definitely easier to get.
It's a little bit riskier though, you said, right? Because you need to throw it right, kind of like right at the same.
Yeah, definitely risky.
Okay. So it's kind of like that risk versus reward. If you don't have the shotgun, you have to risk it a little bit more. Another one that I had thought of is trying to do like the Frenzy Giants too. Like you go around each one of the either floor 2 or floor 3, because those are the ones that have the most Frenzy Giants. Floor 4 only has a few of them. You kill all the zombies that are not Frenzy Giants, right? So all your spitters, fast biters, floater boaters, toxic abominations, and you don't unlock any of the Frenzy Giant rooms if you can. Like you can draw the aggro pretty much of all the other ones I just mentioned and leave the Frenzy Giants alone, and then you make all the Frenzy Giants follow you, and then you kind of do a little bit of like wall tricking where you try to get them stuck just to get them grouped up. But I tried doing this once, and I tried running away from them, and they like instantly got around the wall that I was trying to wall trick them on just to get them all grouped up, and a couple of them smacked me and killed me. So you can't really like, maybe I was doing it wrong, so it's one of those things that require a little bit more practice.
Do the grenades bounce off of walls?
I'm not sure. I haven't tried that just yet either.
Because
I'm just trying to... Oh, go ahead.
It'll be difficult to do, but if you're wall tricking them, you might be able to bounce them off of the door frame. So you'd throw it into the door frame opposite you, and then it'd bounce into the room that they're in and kill them.
Yeah, that's a great idea, actually.
It's worth trying, at least.
Yeah, definitely is, because I tried it my way and I died. Like I said, instantly I was like, okay, I'm wall tricking. I'm going to run away from the wall trick now to try to get some distance and, throw this grenade at them. And the moment I left the wall, even though they were behind the wall, they all just smacked me and I died.
Yeah. I haven't been able to do a successful grenade throw in the game yet.
I haven't experimented too much with them just yet. These are just ideas that I've started brainstorming because, again, trying to be a hoarder. I'm trying to get a stack of like 20 or 40.
Well.
Yeah, before I really go nuts with them, just in case, they release multiplayer later this month, like they mentioned they have. Or they're trying to shoot for that. Try to use them there in multiplayer versus people. Now that would really
just thought of something. This month is February, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So there's only 28 days. They said they're going to be releasing the multiplayer 4 new locations at the end of the month. That is exactly 1 week from the date of recording this.
Correct. So that's where we were outlining how it's going to work. We're not going to make this talk show, again, if they do end up releasing it, right on the 28th or whatever, or the first couple of days of March, we're not going to make this video or the next, episode 2 right after they release that, we're going to give it a week to experiment with a little bit, get our opinions, and then release the next one, guys. But very good point by Shade. Hopefully less than a week or so away. I was even being a little bit lenient and be like, even if they don't get it at the end of February, if they get them within like the first week of March, we're still all going to love it, right? So
I think no matter when it comes, people are going to love it, provided it's not filled with bugs.
Mm-hmm.
And also, another reason, people will love this because it's a multiplayer update, so it has to release on iOS and Android at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So iOS users will be happy for that.
Yeah, but no more tips and tricks from us then on how to like save up on steel and stuff like that. So it's a trade-off again. Always trading off, guys.
I think the only tip would be get Sector 7 done as soon as you can.
Correct.
Otherwise, you won't be able to take part.
The other one that I've started advertising on my stream too is it's telling people to start stacking up on those signal amplifiers, the antennas, the wiring, maybe like actually ball bearings for once we might be able to use, all those little, you know, or high-tech components as well. All those things that you don't find so easily that you have to get when you're going into either to a yellow zone or a red zone. Start stacking up on those a little bit, guys, because it's probably going to be like Sector 7 again, where we have to unlock it a little bit. So load up now.
Personally, I think what they're going to do is just expand the bubble on the other side. So, you know, when you unlock the wall, you get that little semicircle that unlocks.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're just going to expand that a bit and add in the new locations.
Yeah, we'll have to see. That's where I'm not too good at. I'm good when I have the information in front of me, but speculating of like how they're going to do, I'm like, I'm not going to worry about that too much.
Yeah,
I have too much to worry about.
I don't go into anything like that in videos, because then if I get it wrong, people say, oh, I saw Shade saying this is how the update will happen.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I don't want to be blamed for that.
You're like, I'm not taking the credit. I'll take the credit on the good stuff, but I won't take the credit on the bad stuff.
Damn right.
Any other fun uses? I know some people are saying that maybe you could try the grenades in the police station, but I find that very difficult because they're all like just charging at you right away.
Yeah, I think it'd be really difficult in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
But to be fair, I very rarely go there, as I said already, so I'm definitely not the expert on that.
Yeah, I don't. Like I said, I'm starting to stack up on a little bit of them. I did try to do it in the tower because I barely completed my generator on my Smurf account today, and I tried. Yeah, the watchtower, because I thought before the zombies only came at you after you put the generator in. Or was it always that there were already like zombies there guarding it inside?
There's always some guarding. When you break it open with a crowbar, you have to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you place the generator and another wave comes in because of the noise.
Yeah. I tried throwing a grenade in there, and apparently I just didn't hit anybody or something, or it like disappeared into thin air because I had to gun all those zombies down. And there's quite a bit of like fast spiders as well. Yeah. And it's almost like that section that you just got that saying in the bunker alpha, the 3rd floor. If you just toss one in there, it's bound to hit, you know, some of them and kill them. It didn't seem to work that way for me.
I had that same bug happen on the 4th floor. You know, the first frozen room you come to.
Mm-hmm.
I threw a grenade into there, and I think it was too cold, and it just put the grenade out because it just didn't explode, vanished.
That's a more legit theory than mine, because mine is just out in that radio tower where it's nice and.
Yeah, mine just bugged and disappeared. It wasn't that it was cold and went out.
No, I was going with it, Shade. Just run with it.
The main one that I think is going to impact people... Well, I'm not sure if this will impact people. Do you ever drive your chopper inside farming zones?
No, I can't say that I do too much.
Yeah, I've never found that to be useful either. But they've halved the gasoline consumption when you're actually driving your chopper in zones. Now, when everyone saw this, we were all excited, thought it meant that it would cost half the amount of petrol to travel to locations. But no, it's only when you're driving around in them, unfortunately. Okay.
The only time that I actually started in my main account driving to inside it is when you find like a generator or the engines, you know, that are in the cars. Rather than grabbing that engine and doing that super slow walk when your chopper's like all the way across on the other end of that location, you just go actually then run to your chopper, grab your chopper, and you take it to that engine, and your chopper's like right there. It's a couple steps and it's in the back. So that's about the only time.
The only use I've found for it is driving my chopper on a raid to be closer to all the storage boxes.
Yeah, that's a good one too. So
is that it? Oh no, other small changes. The Toxic Abominations and the AK-47 have got a new skin. I'm not sure actually if I like the new Toxic skin. They look like they're just covered in dust now. They were nice and shiny before. They've obviously unlocked the burglar skill, which we were talking about already. And I don't think there was anything else.
Maybe it was just me, but it seemed like the floater boulders were a little bit smaller. Did you notice that at all? Maybe I was just playing the game a little too much.
I haven't noticed that myself, no.
No, okay. It might have been just me playing the game too much and letting it get to my head. So that does it for all the topics as far as this previous patch was going, but now we're going to start looking at the next one coming up. I guess they released the Brazilian one today.
Yep.
So it's fresh today, guys. So as we were recording this video just a couple hours earlier, we were anticipating that they were going to release this with the multiplayer maybe a little bit later. But it's out
we
today.
knew when this was going to be coming out.
Okay, we knew this one already? Okay.
Yeah, they did say when this one would be coming out. Because it was in the patch notes for this update. And then people were all confused because they couldn't find the event. And then they had to clarify that the event didn't start until today, obviously. But personally, I know basically absolutely nothing about the Brazilian event. Apart from you kill zombies, get bits, and trade them in with a specialist called Lucas at his house. But
yeah, go ahead.
I've not explored anything for the update really yet. That was all I was going to say.
Okay. Yeah, I barely started playing with a couple hours. Started already hoarding a bunch of those items because I don't want to keep going back to him every single time.
Yeah.
I just want to take with him all one like full swoop. So since I have my chopper fully upgraded, I'm going to fill my entire chopper at all 8 slots. And then my backpack, hopefully I have the tactical backpack, knock on wood, that I get one of those, and then I can take whole like 20 or 25 slots, whatever it ends up being.
That would
all
be
those
nice.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Can't wait for the tactical backpack to be added to the game. That is going to be good. Multiplayer update. Do you think it would possibly be the Dark Zone where we can get titanium?
I think it is. I think they're kind of hinting at it with the tactical backpack, starting to give that away. It's like, and I noticed a couple other hints. I really should have taken notes on it, but I think Kafir sometimes releases like these like subtle hints of stuff that they do in the game that it's not like in the notes of the big patch, but they're kind of like hidden changes. And I'm like, oh, it really seems like they're starting to push towards more like multiplayer in a couple different sense. And a couple of them even seem like they were really going to go into like PvP, just with the new materials being released. And it's also the best time probably to release the new armors as well, because then the players that are going to be able to afford those armors, if you go into PvP, then they're kind of have a little bit small advantage, where the people that don't have it, then it's like, all right, maybe it's not the best time for you to go into player versus player, but you can go player versus the AI.
Yeah, I'm really hoping we're going to be getting something good in these multiplayer updates, not just more of the same Sector 7 quests. I think that would be quite disappointing for everyone.
Well, they had said a while ago too that they were working on where people could group up together and fight AI, like the big one that's in the like level 2 of the bunker and stuff like that. Obviously this one mainly would be for Sector 7, but it could be, maybe they're going to introduce another mini boss kind of thing that we're going to be end up fighting together in player versus AI.
Hopefully, yeah, just some kind of activity to do with your clan, not just random players, would be good as well. Because then
the other thing, go ahead.
Because then you'd specifically need to have people in your clan at this point to go and defeat the new boss. Because if it's just with random players, then you still don't need to bother joining a clan, which would be disappointing because they've been in the game for a while now.
Yeah, I think that they will, because another one of those hints that they kind of said earlier this month was that they're going to be releasing like 4 or 5 different multiplayer locations.
4 multiplayer locations, and there's going to be an AI with quests. However, I'm not sure if the AI with quests is part of this update.
Okay. And I think just by process of elimination, you know, you got the AI one that they already announced right there. So that still leaves the option for 3 more. You're thinking that a couple of them are going to take versus actually AI, not just the quest, but doing like a mini boss like I already mentioned before. And then hopefully the last one, or one of, you know, one of those that's going to take up that slot is going to be that player versus player.
Yeah, what I'm really hoping for is a PvP location. The camp type location that they teased that was next to the Sector 7 wall. I'm not sure if you saw the images for that.
Yep.
And then, I'm not sure what you think about this, a yellow and a red dark zone.
That sounds interesting. What would each one have? Have they hinted towards that?
I think
it
would just be, hopefully, it'll just be different difficulties. So obviously the red one you would get a lot more resources, but you'd need to go in with other people. And the yellow one you could possibly do on your own. But this is all cool. Speculation, so don't,
these are all
don't
speculation.
Take any of this bit seriously.
Don't come down on Shade or myself and be like, you guys said this, you know, you're hyping this up and clickbait. None of that, guys. We're just trying to have fun with the stuff that Kafir has released as hints, and hopefully, you know, doing by the process of elimination, be like, oh, maybe this could be that. Oh, maybe that could that be that. So all hopefully here within a week or two, we should have these up as well.
So there's the little one, which looks like the warehouse to me at least, that they've spoken about a few times, which is in the middle of the 2 images, where you've got the 3D model and the sketch of it as well.
Okay, is that the one that has the lockers or the one that looks yellow?
Yeah, the one with the lockers.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, I think that is going to be the warehouse they were talking about.
Where you can go and...
Well, if you read the text above from Veronica, update expected at the end of the month will include 4 new multiplayer locations, quests, and a warehouse. Brackets, warehouse might still be under development. So we know the warehouse isn't one of the 4 multiplayer locations. But if you look at the image next to it, the warehouse looks like that bit that's in the bottom right corner. Yeah, that looks exactly the same to me. So we'll just have to wait and see. And the big yellow bit on the right, if I'm not mistaken, is in fact a decontamination shower.
Yeah, that's what it looks to be, like this narrow hallway. You know, we've seen all the E.T. and other extraterrestrial movies that's where you just go to get cleansed up. And
also I noticed something. If you look at the end of the hallway, you can actually see a safe sitting up there.
Ah, yes.
So what I'm wondering is this going to be some kind of storage? I'm guessing it's going to be something to do with the multiplayer locations. Hopefully that's going to be how we take stuff out of Sector 7. Have to put it in a safe and decontaminate ourselves.
That would be cool if they had a little mini game for that.
Well, yeah, we'll just have to wait and see still. That's the downside of speculation. You can't say anything for certain.
Yeah, the one thing that does make rise a question for me is why they would specifically make it a safe just for extra safety, kind of pun intended there. Well, why would it just be like a regular chest? That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's just because the safe looks nicer.
Could be.
And also the military stuff is always slightly better made than all the stuff we have at our own bases.
That is true too.
Instead of just a little wooden box, they've got a nice solid metal safe.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. Like I said, I'm not very good with speculating. I think you seem to be a little bit better than me on that one.
I just vaguely guess things and pretend I sound like I know what I'm talking about.
That works too, though. That works too.
Thank you everybody for watching. This video will have been uploaded to both mine and Chris's channel. Of course, links will be in the description below. And if you're watching this on my channel, I'll pin a comment to Chris's Twitch and YouTube as the top comment as well. So
I will do the same. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, so thank you all for watching.
Yeah, thank you all for watching. I will obviously do the same for Shade. You know, great YouTuber, has a lot more experience making the videos, but still, so if you guys hadn't known about him, which is very unlikely, great guy, great personality, I'll link to him as well. Once you get to know me a little bit, right? I'm rough around the edges sometimes.
All right, yeah, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Please leave your feedback below.
Thanks. Till next time, guys. A couple of weeks from now.
Bye.
Bye.